If you've ever lost days to an integration debug session over a missing pinout, what if you could not just fix it, but prevent it from ever happening again? And this is how you transform that lost time into a strategic advantage. Becoming the engineer who ships reliable systems faster and earns a reputation for flawless execution. You know that moment in a project, the moment where two teams who've been cruising along on their own try to click the pieces together and nothing works. The mechanical team blames the electrical. Electrical jabs at the software and everyone's frustrated. I'm Chris. In my 30 odd years pneumatic systems and software engineer, I've watched more calendar days vanish in interface hell than I care to count. 9 times out of 10, the bug isn't in any box, it's in the white space between them. And white space doesn't show up on a Gantt chart until it's far too late. Miscommunication at the interface is where projects bleed time, money and sanity. 3 things every engineering manager measures. But there's a single one-page contract that stops the bleed. The Interface Control Document, or ICD. Think of it as the fastest ROI in engineering. 1 hour writing and it saves days, sometimes weeks, during integration. An ICD is a tiny requirements package with a revision letter and a signature block. It doesn't need fancy graphics, it just needs to answer 4 questions that kill debugging time. Physical, what plugs into what? Functional, what must it do? Data and signal, what does it say? Environmental and verification, under what conditions and how will we prove it? Let me give you a real example. Early in my career, I was working on a system that involved a pneumatic pressure regulator and a mechatronic assembly. My team owned the pneumatics, another team owned the mechanics. We agreed on a simple thing. You give us 80 psi of air and it seemed straightforward. But we didn't have a proper ICD, so when we connected the lines, the mechanism wasn't getting enough pressure. Our side was delivering 80 psi at source, yeah, you guessed it. Their side was receiving only 60 of those sweet pounds. Why? Because we never specified the interface. An ICD would have forced us to answer those questions we never asked. What is the exact type and size of the quick connect fitting? What is the allowable pressure drop across the hose? Is the air dry and oil free? Or does it contain a light mineral oil mist for tool lubrication? These weren't malicious oversights, they were interface gaps. Even if your interface is purely software, 2 microservices, same 4 rows, 5-minute fill-in, endpoint URL is the physical, JSON schema is the data, 200 milliseconds latency is the functional, TLS 1.3 is the environmental. Total authoring time is 15 minutes. Total debug time saved, potentially days of log diving. So before you open CAD or clone the repo, spend 30 minutes in Confluence with a 4-column table. Title it ICD 001 Rev A. Get the other lead to hit approve, and you've just bought yourself a drama-free integration week. Now you might be thinking, this sounds like extra paperwork. I get it. But let me reframe it. An ICD isn't overhead, it's an investment. An hour spent on an ICD can save you days of debugging during integration. It's the ultimate productivity tool for any engineer working on a system of any complexity. So next time you're starting a design, before you dive deep into your own component, take 30 minutes, possibly longer, it probably is. Draw a simple block diagram, label the interfaces and start asking those uncomfortable questions about what happens at the boundaries. Create that contract. So to sum up, if you're looking to improve your productivity, we know that integration failures happen in the white space between teams. And it can be expensive at times. The solution, an interface control document. Revision controlled, Look at the physical, what plugs into it. The functional, what must it do. Data and signal, what it says. Environmental and verification, conditions and test. What's the payoff? Days of teardown, meetings, overtime, all eliminated. Maybe like the overtime. Applies everywhere. Pneumatics, harness, rest, APIs, they're all the same format. Because the smartest subsystem on Earth is useless if it can't talk to its neighbour. Master the interface and you master the schedule, the budget, and your week. If this saved you future debug time, like and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, why not watch this one here next? See you next time.